All right, so standard day map openers, 3-1 snail for both teams. Gold bumps middle and goes to vanilla, blue goes to speed. So let's pause here, take a look at strategies for each team. Both these teams are racing to 3 warriors, and each team's #1 priority is to get those warriors up. If you're on one of these teams, no matter what your position, if you can contribute to getting those warriors up, that's what you should be doing rather than lower priority goals like getting objectives going or disrupting your opponent's opener. On day map, this idea applies most to your queen and your safe warriors, so let's look at them first. The queen responsibilities in this opening are, of course, get your warriors up, but do that by keeping your safe and speed gates clear of the enemy no matter what at all costs. On day, that means holding a column roughly around here, not letting the enemy queen past it. And so for you as an intermediate queen, and usually even as an advanced one, you should only be messing around with mid-gate if you can do it without letting the opposing queen past you. You can see that idea play in this opening, in how each of these 2 queens is feinting towards middle, but always pulling back towards their side of the map rather than committing fully, because it's more important to these guys that they keep the opposing queen on her side of the map than it is whether mid-gate gets up or doesn't get up. So there's a lot more we can say, plenty more to talk about here, but for now we'll just say that getting your warriors up is #1 responsibility above everything else, and if you have to give up a little horizontal space or do some boring 50-50s to achieve that, still a win. That's what you should do. Safe warrior responsibilities, pretty straightforward, pretty well understood. Get your speed warriors up by hovering right here, and don't leave to secure this nail or help other people form or do whatever else you need until you're sure that nothing is going to happen to your speed warriors forming here. That's it. Stay home, don't go anywhere, and you'll be good. Objective runners' responsibilities on a day map opener. Objective runners can't really help safe or speed warriors form so much, so the choice is between either going straight to snail or taking a little bit of time to bump mid, or maybe even disrupting the opposing safe gate formations. Objective runner strategy is actually way more complicated than warrior strategy and needs some complex game theory to analyze it properly. So for now, we'll just say that both teams' objective runners are making good decisions within their strategies. Gold is trying to get somebody up mid, so their objective runner bumps mid and then goes down to snail. Blue is not trying to get somebody up mid, so their objective runner just goes straight directly to snail and takes immediate control. Both of those are good, and neither option is really costing control of the snail to their team, because on day, the objective runner is relying on their team's safe warrior to make sure they wind up with control of the snail no matter what. So taking a little quick detour to do something doesn't really hurt your team with respect to objective control. So I'll leave it there for now. Rob Newhouse, please make a million videos to cover this stuff properly. The mid warrior getting up is the most interesting person and the most interesting decision in this situation. So here we have gold checks getting up mid. 2 vanilla openings are about getting an early warrior advantage. And so what do you do with a warrior advantage? Well, you should probably try and maintain and even extend that warrior advantage whenever you have it. That's true in openers and in almost every other part of the game. So let's take a look at gold checks' options. The first option that we're going to look at is up left. This is the most common move for new players, and it's also a super lame move that you should never do. The reason is that if you go up here as gold checks, you're behind the queen, nobody else is nearby, you're not helping your team, you're basically doubling up with your queen to do a job that your queen is already doing, and you're not really helping her do it any better or worse. There's maybe an argument that if your queen had died while you were forming, that then the blue queen would be running over and killing your speed drones and tagging safe. But if that happens and you as a vanilla warrior trace this path trying to go and deal with her, you're a free kill for her. So don't worry about this. If your opener gets broken, probably the most productive thing that you could do as a mid warrior getting up is to go and try and mess with the other team's opener as much as possible. Hopefully, half as much as they're about to screw with yours. Next option that mid warrior has is to go down right. Again, this is not a really good option because you can't really contribute to any of your team's goals from down here. In fact, Very little is happening down here most of the time. The only time when you might be tempted to go down here is if blue sends a drone to mess with your safe gate. But if that happens, you're supposed to have a safe warrior hanging out here defending that gate. So even if the drone comes and disrupts and is kind of giving a lot of hassle to the speed warrior and to the vanilla warrior and speed drone trying to form there, don't go help. That disrupting drone's greatest dream in the world is that 2 warriors and a drone all get tied up for 5 seconds before he dies and then gets back in the game 5 seconds later. So don't do this. Trust your safe warrior. Go be more productive. So other options for the mid gate warrior as he gets up. Head up to the right. This is a pretty interesting option, especially because if you get up mid, then the opposing team is probably going to be sending a second drone to get speed, and you have enough time to get over there and stop him from forming. Even if you don't stop him from forming, or if you do and then are hanging around up here, there's a bunch of productive things that you could be doing. For example, you could come around here and flush the queen out of the middle, or maybe set up a pincer. You could come down here and threaten their opposing safe gate, or if somebody's already doing that, you can come around here for a pincer. All these are nice, productive things that you can be doing, and that's kind of why this spot up here is a pretty good position from a map control perspective. You've got lots of good options. Nobody can really stop you from doing what you want to do, but you can help your team in a variety of ways. So the other thing that you'll see people doing from here is to go down right and look to disrupt the enemy safe gate. This is going to put you in a more dangerous area, but you have a lot of good options from this position with the potential to seriously mess up the enemy's opener. If blue safe warrior does anything other than their job, which is, again, hold this spot right here, then you're going to be able to take that spot for yourself, camp their gate, and generally feel like a boss as you totally destroy their opener and prevent them from getting anybody else up. If blue safe does stay home, then you're probably going to be hanging out in this area, and most likely you're going to be hanging out right underneath this ledge right here. Scraping up against this ledge is usually the better choice because it accomplishes the same thing as waiting here in that it cuts off access to the top of the map or the middle to the blue safe warrior, but you're not vulnerable to a dive from the queen. So you'll probably hang out here. And from this position, there's a bunch of stuff you can do. Even if the blue safe warrior is cutting you off right here, you can, for example, kill drones forming at mid. You could kill any drone foolish enough to kind of come down into this area. You could go take the snail. Although, interestingly, just by being up here, you're making it possible for your safe warrior to go and clear the snail, because this blue warrior can't leave his spot to go stop your safe warrior from clearing the snail without immediately getting pincered by you or letting you clear out all his drones or both. So hanging out up here in this spot is going to be a real good thing for you to do. Lots of good options, but you're in a dangerous spot and you could either get dove on or J-dived on by the queen if you're not real careful. So lots of good options, can be super productive as long as you can keep yourself safe. So with that in mind, let's take a look at what happens. All right, so blue stripes leaves his position and goes to snail. Gold checks goes straight for the disrupt on the enemy gate and very nearly gets there, except that blue queen makes an amazingly fast read as soon as those warriors each move, and then goes down to take control of her team's safe gate, kind of saving the opener for them. So a few takeaways from this result. One, getting out mid will probably win the opener for you in that you have a warrior advantage and can control the center right away or delay the opposing team's warrior formation. Either way, there's going to be about 15 seconds of play coming up where you should be up at least a vanilla warrior on your opponents, and you should use that advantage to keep their warriors down. Second takeaway is that a safe warrior leaving their safe gate before the area is clear is probably going to lose the opener for his team. Blue Queen's reaction to this situation happens so fast that she was most likely planning on covering that option as soon as she saw the gold checks formation. This is kind of why we're doing this analysis. By knowing ahead of time what a savvy warrior can do to you if they get up mid, then you can know to back off a little bit and then be ready to dive, either going for a kill or potentially saving yourself from a world of hurt. So that was it. That was a 3-1 opener. Gonna pause here for now. We'll get into the mid and late game and follow-up videos. So see you guys then.